All right. 2020 Gladiator, manual transmission. Why would you get a manual? Number one, you want to drive a manual. Number two, you want some sort of anti-theft device. Stops your family from borrowing your truck. Number three, you're not going to tow more than 4,000. If you don't need to tow more than 4,000, you're set. You can live with a manual. I need to tow a few small cars, nothing over 4,000. So we're set. So basically, if you want to drive manual, you want a little bit of anti-theft, and you don't need to tow more than 4,000, then you should think about getting a manual. All other cases, get the automatic. This is an ASIN 6-speed D478 something. I shouldn't even guess, I wrote it down. Just waiting for the engine oil to heat up here. ASIN D478. The other recommendation is, if you are going to get a manual, get a Sport S, not a base Sport, with no tow package. That way you can have 1,600 pounds of payload. I'm sorry, I know I've been talking and I haven't had this aimed correctly. Let's get a little bit better angle on here. Hopefully that'll let you guys see things a tiny bit better. Now, when we do this review, let's go into settings, safety and assistance, hill start assist. It's currently on, so the vehicle's in neutral. I'm just going to take the brake off and it rolls. We're rolling backwards. I'm going to put it into reverse. My foot's on the brake, clutch is in. Oh wait, first gear. There we go, we're in reverse because we have our backup camera. I take my foot off the brake and we are rolling backwards. Now I'm going to put it in first gear, take my foot off the brake, and we get a good full 2.5, almost 3 seconds before we roll backwards. When I first got this car, I was like, manual transmission, transfer case, no blind spot monitoring, no adaptive cruise, no automatic braking, nothing. Give me a vehicle I control. This vehicle though, this is great. You know, holding hands, armrest, gives you king of the road feel, but using the parking brake to hold yourself on a hill, it just, the angle is a little lacking. Maybe if this handbrake, you know, if down was here and up was here, and you didn't have to leverage over the corner of this, the parking brake would be a little better for using while driving. But personally, I think it would take a more minimized center console or a better, higher angled parking brake. Like if the parking brake was on here and off where it is right now in the on position, then it would be better for use. So since it's a manual, you gotta use the parking brake when you park it, right? You put the parking brake on, you're facing uphill, you put it in first. You're facing downhill, you put it in reverse. You gotta use the parking brake when you park it. Like, I don't care, I'm getting out of the vehicle, I'm putting it on from over here while I'm driving, because, you know, using this for my hill starts sucks so much. It just takes leveraging and pushing my shoulder forward. And I'm not changing my seating position. I like this seating position for everything else. I'm not making a compromise to use a parking brake. I thought that I would be the kind of guy that's like, off, let me control it myself. But this is actually like, I don't mind it. 1, 2, 3, and we're rolling backwards now. Now, since I'm facing uphill, it's in first gear. I'm gonna take my foot off the brake and just let the clutch out. And we're at 500 RPMs and we're rolling. So facing uphill, I can slip the clutch and get this to roll. And it's not stalling, we're still rolling, we're still rolling, we're still rolling. I never touched the accelerator, and I did that start facing up the hill, and I'm at like 550 RPMs. Okay, we're gonna give it some gas. And I'm at 1,500 RPMs and I'm accelerating. And this is actually doing really well. Like previously when I drove in first gear, the vehicle kept engine braking, accelerating, engine braking, accelerating. I'm getting used to it now. I'm at 2,500 RPMs. I'm still in first gear. I'm gonna take my foot off the accelerator and we're engine braking. Accelerating. Oh, we're bunny hopping. Yeah, first gear is kind of weird. Unless things are dead quiet, you can't hear the engine. I'm crawling in first gear, maintaining a speed of 13 kilometers, which is 5. We're between like 5 and 10 miles per. And yeah, you got to maintain like 1.8 thousand RPMs to crawl in first gear and not bunny hop and engine brake and bunny hop and engine brake. Stopping for the security guard. So this time I'm gonna put it in first gear. I'm not gonna slip the clutch because we know we can do that start. No gas, slipping the clutch to get going uphill. I'm gonna give it 2,000 and take the clutch straight out, and it bunny hopped pretty bad. 2,500, shift into second, no bunny hopping, and I'm at like 1,100 RPMs. And I'm cruising at like 12 miles per, 23 kilometers per hour. Appropriate parking lot speed I find is much better in second gear. Now, one thing I want to test is that hill start assist in reverse. So I'm going back to the beginning here. We're gonna point our nose down the hill, idling at 500 RPMs. We're in reverse, foot off the clutch, brake. Okay, it did hold me. It did hold me for the reverse. Foot's on the brake. Stalled it. Okay, foot's off the brake, the hill starts holding me, and now I'm rolling forwards. The only time I've ever stalled this vehicle is in reverse. The gearing is different in reverse. Okay, I'm in reverse, bunny hopped it, 500 RPMs. Let's roll back down forward. I'm gonna try rev it to like 2,500 RPMs and then pull the clutch straight out. But As you can see, the hill start assist is working in reverse. So I slipped it a little bit. I need to just commit and pull it straight out. Okay. Well, there you go. Now, hill start assist off. The only difference is the vehicle starts rolling instantly. Actually, I think I was in first gear there. So hill start assist is off. I'm in reverse, foot off the brake, and we roll instantly. Hill start assist on, put it in reverse, foot off the brake. The clutch is all the way in for all of this. And it takes 3 seconds before we roll. So it's the same thing. I've tested it on and off in first gear, facing uphill. The only difference between hill start assist on and off is when it's off and you take your foot off the brake, the vehicle rolls instantly. It behaves like an old manual. With hill start assist on, it uses the brakes for you for 3 seconds. It gives you enough time to rev up and start to pull the clutch out without you having to leverage and reach down and grab this terrible handbrake. It's not terrible, it's only slightly bad. Either way, I'm facing downhill, so if I put it in first gear, foot off the brake, I'm rolling, I'm slipping the clutch, and 600 RPMs, and we're rolling. We are accelerating first gear. Okay, we're facing downhill, and first gear is engine braking us, and it bunny hopped on its own. I was just letting first gear, like, is it gonna stall in first gear, or is it actually gonna hold me at 6 kilometers per? I'm not touching gas, brake, or clutch. I'm in first gear, so the gearing is slowing me down on this incline. It's holding me at 600 RPMs, 5 kilometers. I must be doing like 2 miles per hour, but when I first accelerate, little bunny hops, first gear's awkward. It either wants to bunny hop. Okay, I'm at 4,000, second gear, and that was about 20 miles per before I switched into second. I'll do the same thing. I'll go up to 4,000 and shift to third. And I'm doing like 38. I'm in third. We're gonna try and go to 4,000 RPMs. We might go too fast. Okay, I'm at 3,000 and I'm already doing 55. Again, this is a closed track. There's no one on this road. I'm in fourth. One thing I can say about this Aisin transmission, this truck especially, the downshifts are perfect. I've never missed a downshift. Time for some engine stop start. I'm coming up to a red light. It's in first gear and the clutch is in, so the stop start didn't kick on. Okay, I think I had like 2,200 RPMs that time and gradually took the clutch out. Not slow, just the right speed. I don't think I slipped the clutch. And we had a pretty smooth start there, and I shifted into second really quickly. Our light just turned red, so I'm going to put it in neutral. My foot is off the clutch, and the auto stop start kicked on. So with the manual, you know, it's kind of nice. If you don't press this every time, and I pressed it so the engine just turned on, you can kind of control the auto stop start just by, when you come up to a red light, leaving it in first gear and leaving the clutch all the way in. 3,000, shift. 3,000, third. 3,000, third.
I mean fourth.
So yeah, the auto stop start in the manual. Now, I did my driver's test in Canada, and they teach you when you come up to a red light, you leave the clutch in, you leave it in first gear. I got to downshift to third, because if someone goes to rear end you, if your transmission stick is already in first and you've given yourself an appropriate space cushion, you have appropriate space between the car in front of you and yourself, if someone goes to rear end you, it's only a matter of gas, clutch out, and you need less time to react and avoid getting rear-ended. In Canada, in your driver's test, if you're sitting at a stoplight and you take the clutch out and you put it in neutral, they will fail you. And the reasoning is dangerous technique. The theory being, if you had to move, if there was an emergency and you had to make your vehicle move, it's going to take you more time to push the clutch in, put it in gear, and then gas and clutch out. Versus if your clutch was held in, your foot's on the brake, your stick is in gear, you have two hands on the wheel, you're going to be able to move and respond and get out of danger faster. I've heard from mechanics that at red lights you don't want to sit there with your foot on the clutch. I think the reasoning is it will wear out your throw-out bearing, because when your clutch is pushed in, you're squeezing something. But in Canada, on the driver's test, you know, they want you to do it perfectly for the safest driving. And obviously you should, you know, given the choice, wreck your vehicle or safe maneuver. Like, I don't know, it's weird. You should just always sacrifice your vehicle. Your life is worth way more than your vehicle. I'm in third. Perfect downshift into second, 3,100 RPMs, no jerk, no bump. This red light's gonna change, so I'm leaving it in first, foot's on the clutch. That way the engine stop-start doesn't come on. Oh, what a bunny hop. 2,000 RPMs and I pulled the clutch out very quick. And I bunny hopped that hard. Now this road is 25 miles per. We should go down into second gear. Again, a perfect downshift. This vehicle is amazing for downshifting. This is one of those roads where you just don't risk it. Cops hide here. Speed limit's 25 miles per. 40 kilometers is what you should do. If you're doing 50, even though that's like residential street in Canada. This place, I think 50 kilometers is going to be breaking the speed limit. And 100% every night someone here is pulled over for doing 30 in this 25 zone, because this street gets abused. People do 40, 50 here, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, but there's a church, there's kids, there's crosswalks. This is one of those streets. Do the speed limit. I will put the gearing ratios on the screen. First gear is weirdly low. Fourth gear is direct drive, it's 1-to-1, and fifth and sixth gear are overdrive gears. I recently did some highway driving at a place where, you know, the flow of traffic was 90 miles per hour, so I was using my sixth gear, and the difference between fifth and sixth gear was at like 90 miles per hour, like 140 kilometers. Fifth gear was like 2,500 RPMs. Sixth gear was 2,000. So that sixth gear, fifth gear is like 0.8 and sixth gear is like 0.7 of a ratio. It drops your RPMs by 500, which helps a little bit. I think at 90 miles per hour, I was averaging 18 miles per gallon. It was around like 12.6 liters per 100 kilometers was kind of what we were getting. Why am I slowing down? We got the green. But I'm gonna do the other reason too, I think I didn't get great fuel economy is because I'm still in my engine's break-in period. I'm at 589, so almost 600 kilometers on this engine. So I can't cruise on the highway. I can't use cruise control. I can't hold a static RPM. I need to vary my engine RPM. So I was speeding up, slowing down, shifting from 5th to 6th, you know, accelerating, try to do all the things that are good for an engine break-in, keeping it under 4,000, not cruising, varying my RPMs, highway and city. I'm getting 18 miles per gallon, which 12.6 liters. Let's see in the menu here. Oh, I'm averaging 13 liters per 100 kilometers, which is slightly worse. Yeah, on both my A and B trip computer. So if your car was doing like 1 liter per 100 kilometers, that's amazing fuel economy. It only takes you 1 liter of gasoline to go 100 kilometers. But if your vehicle takes you like 20 liters of gasoline to go 100 kilometers, that's terrible. So I think once this engine's broken in and I'm doing highway mileage, like 50 highway, 50 city at, you know, 65, then I should be getting slightly better than 18 miles per gallon, 13 liters per 100 kilometers, because the engine will be broken in. And the biggest problem with going 90 miles per hour, 140 kilometers with, there's the bug, with going that speed, like even though you have a 0.7 or 0.8 and a 0.7 ratio, this is a box. The aerodynamics suck. The vehicle weighs 4,600 pounds. Yeah, hill start assist, we're done with you. We're gonna leave that on. I like it. It's better than cranking this handbrake. You know, Miata's in the garage. I don't know what else to say. Hope this has been extensive. Hope this helped you. Trying to give you information, but at the same time, there's some candid moments in here. My bad shifts are bad. My good shifts are good. First gear is definitely the trickiest because the engine's quiet and this is shift by wire. You know, this transmission feels like that bug. It's shift by wire. You're not as connected as like a Miata transmission where you're sitting down on the floor. The Miata transmission is actually here. You're actually shifting the gears. Hondas are really notchy transmissions, like old Hondas are not by wire. The Tacoma, during the test drive, the gear shifter felt more notchy. I really didn't like that it had no lockout because I kept putting it into reverse when I went to go into first, and I kept almost backing into cars. But the Tacoma's clutch pedal felt better. Auto stop start just kicked in because it's in neutral. I took my foot off the clutch. Yeah, the Tacoma's, you know, during the test drive, stick felt better and the clutch pedal was heavier and had more resistance and feeling in it. But those are literally the only two things I liked about the Tacoma. Other than that, the seating position was terrible. The visibility was terrible. I hated the touchscreen and the navigation. I really like that this is infotainment. This is all climate. And then there's other stuff down here. I prefer this infotainment. I'll talk about it more in another video, but I really like separate infotainment, separate from climate controls. I don't like the higher trims that have the better touchscreen because things get kind of mixed. I like it simple. This is like a toolbox. It's small. It's almost like a heads-up display, even though it's down here. I don't know. Less is more to me. That's why I wanted a manual. That's why I didn't want all the BS. I want a vehicle I control. The hill stop start assist, I will admit, is nice. I do like it. Even though I came to this truck with the mindset of I want to control everything, I do like the hill stop start assist. If I mod this and get a better handbrake, I will probably take that off. If there's a handbrake that's easily accessible with my arm on the rest that I don't have to leverage off for, then I will probably get rid of the hill start stop assist. But until this gets changed, we're keeping the hill stop start assist. But after 2 weeks, you know, I've kind of forgotten what the Tacoma was like, and I'm used to this. And I prefer the lockout. I've seen people hypermile the Tacomas and get like 26 to 28 miles per gallon. So once my engine's fully broken in, like once we're past 1,600 kilometers, try and hypermile this and see what the best fuel economy we can possibly get out of it is. I've got the stock wheels. I've got the 3.7 rear end differential. So we'll see what we can do. Got to push the clutch in, put it in first gear. That turns the engine back on. Now we're going to turn it off. Thank you for watching.